Life around 40, here we go again.
Welcome to Life Around 40 podcast. Welcome back for episode 13, 14? I'm going to get it wrong every single time. Which one is this, guys?
It ought to be 14.
14. It's 14.
He almost said
Episode
13. I saw those lips.
14. Again, welcome back. Thanks for joining us again. I'm here today with Drew Taylor and myself, Graham. Looking for another fun episode. So I'm wondering how deep this one's going to get, honestly, with the topics we chose. I felt like we started this as, we're going to talk lighthearted games and movies and stuff, and now we're like digging into our psyches.
We're old men, so this is what this kind of eventually boils down to.
So I didn't realize it was going to turn into a therapy session. And a crude.
We all could use one of those. Yeah.
I already have a therapist. I don't know that I need another one. All right. So, how things been for everybody? Anything exciting happened to anyone?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Many exciting things.
Well, let's hear it.
Friday, I got to play golf for work. Right.
Yeah, you were talking about this.
It was glorious. So, the first hole. This is the second time at the same course in a scramble I've been put on. It's at the Golf Club of Houston. We were put on a 200-plus yard par 3 with water short, out of bounds left and right. Second time they've done this to me on the same. And for the second time, I pulled off a miraculous shot and put us dead center of the green with my 2 hybrid because everybody else was in trouble. So that was my best shot for 12 holes. And when I tell you, like, I could get the driver and play, but nothing else. Nothing else was going my way. It was very frustrating. Couldn't make a putt. So I was like, we're going to change some stuff up. We're going to go full athlete. I'm going to just look at the putt, and I'm going to go up and hit it. No practice strokes, no lining it up. Just go up there and feel it in there, right? Really helped the putting. The last 6 holes, we went 5 under for the last 6 holes. I used 2 mulligans, and we used one guy's drive. Other than that, I was just lights out with the putter. And the highlight was, had a 15-yard pitch to a downhill running away from me, and I flopped that sucker right in the cup. Just bounced twice, rolled, trickled, went in. My boss jumped on my back. It was a magical moment. We all shared together as a team. It was a good time.
Yeah, it's impressive. It's a nice story. Did you hit a hole in one?
Wow.
We thought I did again. I was on my knees like, this is it. Oh my God. And it ended up landing like 2 feet short of the cup and then rolled out 20 feet.
That's
but it looked, I was like 2 feet short and like 2 inches to the left of the pin.
Just so you know, we are going to speak it into existence, Drew. It's going to happen.
It's fine.
So
it's fine.
we're going
I'll
to
probably
speak it
die
into
when
existence.
it happens. I'll be in such disbelief. I did it! And I'll never get to tell the tale. I'll be alone too. Watch, I'll die on that golf course alone.
Well, we think he got a hole in one, but no one was here to attest on his dead. So it doesn't count. You're up in heaven.
So no!
Somehow like an attested scorecard falls from the sky and we're like, oh my God. God attested for him.
You know what? I can live with that. I can live with that.
Right.
Yeah, that's a pretty good attest.
That's a pretty good witness for that.
It's a hard one to argue, for sure.
My pastor will be up there, sure. He and we lost someone, and he got a hole in one on the hole that I know. Where'd that come from? Yeah.
The sunbeam suddenly flies down on him out of nowhere. There's not even a window there. Where did that come from?
Oh, so my pastor, speaking of dead people, and my pastor is alive, doing great.
It's got real weird.
Yeah, I know. Well, years ago, he was in France, right? Land of Surrender. And he was messing around, and he fell and, like, destroyed his elbow, right? So the French doctors are like, we got to take off that piece of bone and, like, put a plug in your arm. And he's like, no, I'm going to go to America. I'll be fine. Thank you.
They even gave American up on his medical. They're like, we can't do anything here. We're going to give up.
Shattered his elbow on a curb. American doctors told him the same thing. So he looks like a butt plug in his elbow, right? And this is years ago. So for playing golf, swinging, the plug started coming out. So they're like, look, we think you should just take it out and then see how the free floating elbow does for you. So he did this, right? So the elbow, it hurt him to where like his arm was swelling up. He couldn't move very much. So now they're like, okay, so we got a new plan for your arm. This is going to be great. We're going to take a cadaver tendon.
Yeah.
And we're going to make you a new elbow with it. It'll be great. And, we'll cut it open. We'll stick it in there. That way you got, some flexi, you got some cushion. It'll be great. And then, after so many weeks, we'll take it out. So he's got the cadaver rocking in there. And dude, he's a trip. He's telling people, like, if I ever do anything wrong, I'm just going to slap him. Like, oh, it was the other guy. It's like, or the woman, stop it.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the guy. I love the guy, man. He's so funny.
That's too good.
Yeah. But he's pulling that crap with his wife right now. He's like, oh, sorry, it's the other guy. Now give me the chips.
But you Taylor anything good?
Cadaver. He got a dead guy in his elbow.
It's gross.
That's because isn't that what happens? It like they graft that in there, but then your body kind of regrows, and then they
it's supposed to
get rid of it.
Yeah, regrow. So
because it's like, oh yeah, shoot, you got stuff down there. Let's.
Well, it's
like
like
fascinating stuff.
Have you seen pictures? I think it was like out of World War I, and even before that in India, where they would do like people would lose their nose, and they would like suture their arms to their face or whatever because the skin would start regrowing on areas. Have you ever seen that? They have to be like up in a bind like this while the skin transfers from the arm or whatever over. You should look some of it up. It's pretty wild. It was like one of the first forms of plastic surgery. That's how they would encourage that skin growth or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was pretty wild.
But myself, nothing too exciting or anything. I actually took a pretty lazy weekend, and I just was getting back into some stuff with some reading. I'd kind of fallen on the wayside with reading and whatnot, so I've been getting back into reading, and then just some other habits to get the gears going again on writing and stuff because I'd fallen off the wagon a bit with that. So I was just kind of
been working on your poetry book any?
Truthfully, no, I had not.
Okay.
I did come up with a line for something, but I don't know what I want to use it for just yet. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, but store it in the bin for later.
It's an angry line, so yeah. Yeah,
don't be giving away the goods for free.
No, right. It's well, no, I still need to kind of hammer it out what I got. So it's just like, okay. But yeah.
There you go.
But nothing too remotely exciting on that front. So how about yourself?
I'm discovering, and I've really discovered this past week how badly I misunderstood the Misogi challenge when we talked about it with Nick in that episode, because and I was talking to Jared about this a little bit yesterday. One of my Misogi challenges was to learn hiragana in a year. Like I want to learn it in a year. I learned it in a week, actually a little less than a week. So it's like, I don't think I quite understood what we were supposed to be. And that's like the other one is waking up at 5:00 every morning for 6 months or whatever. I'm already getting up at 6 most days, every day of the week anyways, other than the weekends. So it's like, I should probably reevaluate my Misogi challenge list and make it an actual Misogi and not just something I want to do at some point. So,
sometimes you need to have the low hurdles to build yourself up to get to the higher ones.
I suppose. Yeah. But I was like, I want to be able to learn hiragana in a year. And I started it last Wednesday, and I think I was texting you this weekend, like, man, I'm like 98% there.
Yeah,
it's like, I'm pretty sure I know it all now at this point. So,
no, it's nice to see. It's endearing to see you learning on that. Plus, it helps me with certain things you're talking about to kind of jog my memory on things.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
and I definitely appreciate the help. So, like I said, if it's bothering you, let me know. But it's nice to bounce questions and test myself on things. So,
it's good.
Like I was talking to you about before we started the show, I'm starting the second alphabet now. katakana, and I feel like I'm a beginner again. Like I can't remember any of it. So what I did for hiragana, which helped, is I would write 4 lines of the symbol over and over, and every time I would write it, I would say, the sound ka, ga, da, whatever, and that really helped it stick in my head. So I'm gonna have to do that with katakana as well. So it's annoying, but it's got to be done. So
well, I remember part of in that conversation we were having too, something that you said. I don't know if you specifically do it, but something like with the toe and then doing like toe tomato kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I do try to, if I can visualize something that reminds me of it.
Yeah.
That's like on katakana, it kind of looks like a weird slanted a little bit. So I can
I can see that, yeah.
Not ka, but I can kind of remember that a little bit. But I feel like I'm having a harder time with katakana. I do have flashcards that have hiragana on one side and katakana on the other. And they're supposed to give you visual representations of each character and something to remember it by. So I probably will start. I didn't really use them for the hiragana, but I'll probably use them for the katakana just because I've noticed I'm struggling already. So
well, the one thing as well with that is that I don't know if this is just the absent-mindedness of myself to where it makes it easier for it, but like when learning the language and stuff, while it is nice to be able to do the tomato thing, part of the problem that comes from doing that, at least it works because tomato is tomato is like a foreign word, is that you need to strip yourself of having like the English
that association
language.
Later on.
Right. So it's, you're not looking at, a book. It's a home. Kore wa hon desu ka? This is a book kind of thing. So it's something it forces your brain to have to think in a different manner and not be like, okay, well, I've got to translate to English or from English to Japanese this. No, you got to be able to just.
Yeah, I get that. So. No, it's been a lot of fun. I'm sure I'm driving Brittany crazy. I've spent a lot of time just either doing. Sure. Well, yeah. But I
just like existing.
I use Chat GTP to learn. I use apps to learn, and then I'll just sit at the table. Like the first night I did it for 3 hours, and didn't even realize I had been doing it for 3 hours. So at least it's been enjoyable. So I'm gonna keep working on that. But that's been, other than work and stuff, that's been my big thing. It's just, it's fun to learn something new. I'm a very curious person, and I always like learning new things, and it's nice to have something that I can't just answer it with a Google search. It actually takes some real work to learn it. And I actually have to put effort in. So that's very refreshing, because I feel like everything nowadays, it's like, oh, what's this? Oh, okay, there it is, whereas this doesn't come that way. It's actual work. So it's been very fulfilling so far, I would say.
All right. The exploration of it and kind of tells a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
As he describes this, it sounds to me a lot like playing Chrono Trigger. And
no, at least I'm learning a new skill with this. So I know how to play video games already. All right, you push buttons.
Just finishing them, right? That's the hard part.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I do struggle there. So,
on another note of fun for me, next year I was asked to film a wedding, and I'm gonna make Graham help me.
Yeah, he texted me that.
He doesn't even really get a say. He doesn't get a say. He's just going to have to help.
Well, it was funny. You texted me that day, and I was going back, like I said earlier, I was listening through some of our old episodes. And right after you texted me that, I was listening to the episode where we were talking about your hobby being photography, and you saying that you weren't going to shoot weddings. And you're like, yeah, I'm not really interested in that. There's a lot there. And like just earlier, he was like, you're helping me at a wedding. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
I've known her since she was like sub 10 years old, I believe. So
still, it's a lot of pressure. She asked, still.
I know. Oh, I already had my wife preface to her like, I am not a professional. If you just need yourself filmed, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. But if you're looking for Spielberg, you're coming to the wrong place.
Yeah,
but I'm the right price. I'm free because that's my wedding gift.
Yeah, for sure.
So it could be a good gift. It could be a shitty gift. We'll find out.
Somehow it's apparently my wedding gift to this person I don't know as well. So I'm excited. And that's the thing. I can take pictures and snapshots. I cannot take good photos. there's a very big difference between somebody who can take really good photos and someone who just goes out and takes snapshots. I am a snapshot person.
There's a few things. So what you'll find, right? Because you've had a DSLR camera in the past, right?
And I've read some photography
Sure.
books and stuff. So
I'm sure you were using the kit lens.
no, there was a couple times I would change it up off of the kit lens. If it came with like I had a used one that came with like a couple of different lenses. They weren't super high quality glass or anything, but they weren't the kit lens either. So
Sure.
a lot of it's I got to learn composition, and lighting.
Look,
is my biggest thing.
Look, the good news is this is a wedding, right? So mostly for you, I'm gonna have you walk around doing like just video of people. Like if someone wants to say like a shout out to the bride and groom, you just gotta center these folks up. If it's photos, right, you'll switch the mode dial to there'll be 2 or 3 mode dials on the camera. You'll have to switch between one for video, one for photo, right? Yeah. So if it's photo, take a photo. You're gonna get the great background separation. We'll get you with a decent on camera flash. You'll be fine. It'll look great.
Yeah, I'm really not too worried about it. So, because I figured your pictures will be like the main wedding, and mine will be kind of auxiliary photos of here's some extra photos. For
I know what I'm doing.
Kind of deal. Yes.
Sure.
More than I do. So more than I do.
The last wedding I did, obviously, like when I took the family photos, that all looked pretty good. I mean, how hard is it to take a family photo, right?
Yeah.
People up front get the waist up. People in the back, you're more full body, right? Get as tight as you can so you get the best separation. But I had my buddy who's never taken a photo in his life. Dude, he had, of the 200-300 photos he took, I'd say like 30 of them. I was like, dude, this is a great photo. Great job.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Keep snapping that picture, you're gonna get shots, man. That's
just for sure.
With the cameras and lenses I have, you're just gonna get it. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm really not too concerned about it. So I've taken some pretty good photos in my life. So it's not like I've never used this equipment before, never thought of a shot or whatever before. Yep. So I'm not totally new.
You'll be perfect. That's why I picked you. Out of
Thanks.
All my friends, the 3 of you.
It had nothing to do.
You first.
I'm sure it had nothing to do with convenience of having a guy here pretty quick and ready to go. But
and I feel like you owe me a favor. I just feel like I'm just gonna call it in.
I don't. You even texted afterwards and said, "Yeah, I don't think you owe me a favor, but I'm calling one in." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think I do either, but yes, I can help you. If you're asking for help, I can help you. You traveling to Nashville to see me on my transplant is not a favor, okay? I owe you nothing for that.
No, I would never call
computer you're
that
bringing
in.
me, I'm going to pay you for, so that's not really. I don't think that's a favor. So, but no, it's fine. I will help you.
Life experience I brought you over the years in high school. Have to account for something.
Thanks. Yeah, it's really quantifiable as a favor, I'm sure. So,
well, yeah, multiple favors. So this is just a string of one of many there.
I'm an equal opportunist. I can wipe the whole slate clean for something that's just going to be awkward for everybody, including me. Again, true. It's a wedding. We're going to do the best we can.
Open bar?
I don't know. I don't drink anymore.
Well, I will at an open bar. I don't either, unless there's an open bar. The best alcohol is free.
I see Graham over there. Come on, buddy. Come on. Keep going.
I noticed as the evening got on, the photos got progressively worse. So, well, no, they were bad. Then they kind of peaked for a little bit, and then they got really bad.
Why did they all turn into selfies of Graham in the restroom? Who knows?
One of life's mysteries. All right.
Good Lord.
We're sitting at 20 minutes, so we want to go ahead and push into our topic. We're trying to tighten these up a little bit so we're not putting out 2-hour episodes every week. So try to tighten it up a little.
All right, so I had topic of the week, and mine's kind of the dual. It's not a top 3, but it's a dual. So I wanted to talk about addictions you struggle with, and something else you just like to change about yourself. It could play into the same thing, but I figured if we all had like the same addiction, it would be pretty short.
Well, we still might. I mean,
so It could. You never know. So I'll start with my my lead addiction that I want to get rid of, and besides cussing a lot and other things I really should work on, mine would be, and I think it's most people's in this life is, I want to get away from this.
That's my biggest
more and more and more, because golly gee, man, it's you get stuck watching it, looking at it, scrolling through it, and then you're like, oh shit, it's 6:30 and I've done nothing today. So that for me is it, because it's, I mean, and you know, I'll tell my kids, no, you can't get on the damn phone, and it's like, oh, but I'm on the phone because it's got home from work and I'm tired and I don't want to do anything else.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my biggest addiction issue that I think I have.
I'll go ahead.
Next. Oh, Graham, you take it. You take it.
That's fine. Yeah, sorry, Taylor. I didn't mean to step in you there.
No, I mean, if you're kind of similar, go for it.
Well, yeah, that was the main reason. Is I would say my number one is the phone as well. Like you said, just sitting there, you get addicted to what they call doom scrolling, where you're not even reading what you're doing. You're just flipping through stuff, and it's kind of going in one side of your brain and out the other, and you're not really retaining anything. I feel another thing that comes, it kind of leads into my second one. Because I just thought of something kind of, so we're not sharing exactly the same. And I feel like the doom scrolling also feeds into the second addiction I have a little bit. I find it's easy to be kind of addicted to being angry, which is kind of an interesting one, I think. Part of it comes from, I think, I'm not the most emotional person, and anger is such an easy emotion to access. There's no real work there. You're angry. And also there's a lot of times where I don't want to be bothered. And if I come off as angry, people are more likely just to leave me alone. I think I use it as a distancing kind of technique. It's something I want to get away from. If I'm in a bad mood, I'll express anger instead of trying to be patient and work through something with my kids or my wife or whatever. And my first default will be to be angry. And the reason I say it's an addiction is I almost think it feels good when I am. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know why I enjoy it, but I do enjoy like feeling that anger sometimes, not always, but sometimes. And I think that's more common than people think. And the reason I say that is because doom scrolling is a very easy way for me to get angry, because there's so much politics out there and just bad news, and everything's so negative, it feels like, online, that really can feed into your anger. And I think as a country, we're kind of addicted to that. You can even see it in the sense of reality TV and stuff like that. People watch those shows to get mad or, whatever, to feel those kind of emotions. So I don't think I'm the only person that's addicted to anger. But that's something I really want to solve. I feel like using it as a distancing technique is not good. I think it's unfair to my wife and kids and the people around me in my life for me to treat people that way when they haven't particularly done anything to me, because I'm using it as a coping mechanism. So I would say that's probably my two biggest ones, I would say, because the phone is a very big one. I love to learn stuff. I'm a very curious person. And I kind of use that as a way to kind of block everything out. It's kind of like watching TV in a sense, but it actually causes me to turn my brain off even more than watching TV. So when I get home and I've had a bad day or I'm in a bad mood, it lets me feel nothing. And that's what I like. You just kind of veg into this state where you're just there,
So that part I find interesting, and I'll tell you why. I was thinking about this as I was driving around today all over the damn city of Houston, which is a lovely time, by the way, at like 12 miles an hour. I was thinking about that because, I remember growing up, we had in Ohio, it was TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday. And you had like your great lineup of shows. You had like Family Matters, Step by Step, Perfect Strangers, Dinosaurs, great, hilarious show that ends horribly, by the way. But like, right. But that was a thing, right? Like you had a TV guide. for anybody out there under the age of 40.
Oh, yeah.
You had this printed paper of what was guaranteed to be on TV that day, that hour. And like, dude, you'd plan around that, right? Like,
Oh,
you
for
had
sure,
to make
yeah.
plans just to watch a show because there was no DVR, you know?
Yeah.
We had cassette tapes, for Christ's sake, man. Like, you know? And
Oh, yeah.
you know the VCR always flashed 12, right? It never stayed on the tape.
Yeah, I've never seen one action on time. So
Shit. So, I mean, back in the day, like you said, if I wanted to watch my program, I knew it was on Friday at 8:30 o'clock in the evening. And, you know, it wasn't like, I wonder if my YouTuber posted today and I just start doom scrolling to find something to feed
Oh,
my
yeah.
edge. It was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
no.
Mm.
I'd go outside and party until 8 o'clock when I knew pizza'd be there, and it was 2 hours of fantastic programming.
Well, and it even shows up to me in ways where I'll be thinking of, I won't have my phone, and I'll be thinking of something like, oh, I need to check this on my phone. And then I'll get on my phone and I'll pull up social media or something, and I'll spend 20 minutes on social media, go back to what I was doing, and I was like, I didn't even look at what I was supposed to on my phone. You know, like when I picked up my phone originally, I was going to check an email, or I was going to look something up for a job or whatever, and I ended up spending 20 minutes instead scrolling on Facebook, and that's incredibly unhealthy. So trying to get away from that. And so here's a question: do we want to kind of keep this separate from how we want to, what we want to change? Kind of do it through two segments, 2 rounds. Okay, that's
Fine.
fine.
Mine's definitely different. So
okay, we'll kick it. Mine kind of ties in, but I'm still going to go ahead and kick it to Taylor. So
Okay. Well, I want to kind of touch base with the both of you on this, and I think part of this is, well, because so I did not have a smartphone until 2019.
wow. Yeah.
So yeah, and that was the only reason why it was because my sister wanted to get a different one. So for a very long time, I did not have one, and not only did I not have one, I got to see the before and after of the first 5 years, or at least a 5-year chunk of how people act in the States when before they had the smartphone to when that became a thing. And it was really alarming, and it's still like, I'm so syncopated and offbeat from how people are with that, because I can go without being on my phone. Like, it does not bother me one bit. Like, I don't have Discord on my phone. The only, like, social media thing I have on my phone is Instagram, and that's because a friend asked me to, and that's the way we communicate. And it's like, okay, but, like, I don't need to be on Instagram. I don't need to, like, I don't have Facebook on it or anything like that. And it's just, outside of, I do have YouTube, I'll say that. And outside of having it on if I'm driving, it's just something to connect to the Bluetooth to listen to. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. That's it.
Yeah.
I use it to call people or give somebody some text, but it's like, I ain't sitting there with bated breath waiting. Oh my goodness, Graham, Drew, why aren't you texting me back? Kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, whatever. Like I am eternally grateful that
I don't
it is
blame
not,
you.
that it has gotten to me to where, like, because I've seen how just terribly damaging it can be. And the doom scrolling thing, I don't really understand. Like, I've tried to just, like, get an idea of the whole, just kind of going through, like, Instagram reels and stuff, and I just don't get it.
Oh.
Like, like, I'm like, okay, like, we'll see, so that are just the shorts, and just, it's the rapidity of it. I don't think that's quite a word. The rapidness
It's a
of
great
it.
word. It's a great word.
Well, how rapid it is and how quick it is. It's so diaphanous. There's just nothing to it to me. It's just so fleeting. That
What was that word you just used?
diaphanous.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's just kind of like airy, just
Nebulous, if you will.
Yeah, good. Yeah, nebulous
Okay.
without nebulous kind of gives you that image of almost being like really thickly.
Yeah.
Think of almost like airy smoke in a way. It's just kind of,
Okay.
it's just, ephemeral.
Well,
kind of.
but what you're talking about is what is so addicting to it, because there is nothing of substance there, and it's very easy to turn your brain off.
And
you're almost not even in. We've talked about this before. You don't even like to watch TV and movies and turn your brain off.
Right.
So yeah, I could see you not being interested. Whereas I do those things to turn my brain off.
And there's certainly things I'll see and I'll be like, oh, that's kind of funny or something.
Well,
But in the same hand, it's like, okay, that's funny, but it doesn't latch on to me. And like the doom scrolling thing does not, like, it just doesn't do anything for me. So it's just kind of like, okay. But I have the other problem, and I know exactly where this stems from, and it probably stems for a lot of people.
Porn.
No, but thank you for trying to jump ahead of the curve. No, I love food, and I love eating food, and that is like one of the few things of comfort to me. Part of that's also because of growing up and being very poor and not being able to eat a lot of things. You know, there's a time stretch. I joke with people who are aware of it, but you know, there was a few month stretch in Japan when I was studying over there that I pretty much had nothing to eat but potatoes and green peppers. So I refer to that lovingly as my potato and green pepper arc, where I basically had like if I was to calculate it out, if I remember correctly, it was something like I could spend about $2 a day. Yeah, yeah.
Can you at least throw some like ketchup on that every once in a while?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll save the money.
So there was that, but there was a place where I could go on Mondays to get a meal proper, at a restaurant that was right there by the campus. Saitama Daigakuin. Well, no, is it Daigakuin? Maybe Saitama Daigakuin. Anyways, in Saitama, and it was totally. And it was, I probably went slightly crazy from that experience.
Yeah.
Just a little unhinged. Plus, just as a kid, there were stretches where I remember we at one point only had one of those big jar of pickled like glass, like pickles in glass and stuff that you know they all had buried in the back of the fridge and stuff. And I remember we had that, and then my brother broke that. that was fun.
Oh.
No
more pickles.
No more pickles. That are Kix cereal. I hate Kix.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was absolutely disgusting, but it was one of the things we ate or had,
Kix.
and well, you can have it all
have
you
it.
want.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, no. The thing was that I remember one instance of me pouring it out and there being like a bug, dead bugs in it and stuff, and I was like, okay, this is great. No, I think it was a cockroach or something, but one of those like little small one kind of things.
I would no longer eat Kix than myself.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I haven't. So, but yeah, there were some very, very dark moments. So for me, food, when I became able and responsible and not just a complete stooge with my money, food became a very strong source of comfort for me, to where like I, you know, that would probably be the one thing of like addiction is like I could just sit there and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat. Heck, I kind of had that. I felt like that this weekend. I kind of felt like I had a tapeworm, and I'd just be like, okay, you know, I wake up at 5 a.m. or something. It's like, okay, all right, 8, all right, eating again at 7, eating again at 9, and we're not talking just like little snacks or something, but like moderate meal or something.
I feel like a tapeworm should be a valid weight loss plan. I mean, why not put them in there? You're feeding, you're feeding an animal, gets to come out later.
Parasite. I mean, animal, I guess, but parasite, I feel like is a better way to put that.
How about a comfort critter?
No,
Is that
a comfort critter.
A
parasite.
comfort critter.
I'll tell you what. When we have this conversation in 2 years. If you're 400 pounds, we'll talk.
Yeah.
We'll work on it then together as a unit.
Right.
I used to love My 600-Pound Life. Has anybody ever watched My 600-Pound Life?
My wife watches it all the time. I don't really watch it, but my wife does.
Hilariously enough, Dr. Now, his office is here in Houston, and
Yeah.
it's near Rice University, and right in the same plaza is one of the best Chinese buffets in Houston. Like, ironically enough, that it's there, right? And I've always said I'd be great for those people. I'm a hefty guy myself, but I'm like, I could help these 600-pound folk. Like, oh, you're hungry? Here's an apple. Clock that sucker up on the window ledge. Now, chop chop.
Yeah.
If you're hungry, you're gonna get that apple.
Yeah.
If
That's
you don't
what the
get the
food
apple,
is.
you're not that hungry.
Well, in almost every single one of those instances I've seen, there's somebody they're living with or married to that is enabling that behavior and making
Mhm.
food for them and making it very easy to access that food.
And a
Um,
lot of it.
yeah, and a lot, and there's no limit to how much they're allowed to eat with this enabler. So, I mean, it's definitely that person's fault. A lot of it is. A lot of it comes with
Mhm.
past trauma. The way they
Sure.
grew up or whatever. There's a lot of trauma there usually, but I think it's equally on the person that's enabling that behavior as
Oh
well.
yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. So Taylor, we're watching you. I can help
Okay.
you with this one.
All right. All right.
I'll
that
send
is.
you an apple.
I used to be very much the same way. I've actually one thing that's helped me is I just stopped eating lunch for the longest time. And now I pretty much eat just dinner. Occasionally eat a little bit during the day, but not a lot.
Mm.
Not the healthiest way to do it. I say it's working for me. I'm losing weight, not the healthiest way, but it's down to where I eat like one meal a day, and because of that, I don't crave food a lot,
Mm.
which is surprising. I think I just got so used to kind of semi fasting that it's just the
Mm-hmm.
norm for me now. Like if I eat, it's getting where if I eat a big breakfast, I can't eat lunch now, or if I eat lunch, I don't want to eat dinner. It's because I'm just so used to eating one meal a day.
Mm.
So it's probably why I'm low energy.
Nice.
Well, I try to
Yeah.
oscillate with that, and there was a time a few years ago where I would just have like one meal, um, and usually it would be like after work kind of thing, and I think that's where part of the addiction comes in. It's just like I really like food. I also like like cooking a
Yeah.
lot, so it's like
No, I
okay,
get
so
it. Like I still
yeah.
love good
Yeah.
food, and I still love to cook. I just
My thing, I think I've tried to balance that is my proportions because I used to be
yes,
god
for sure.
awful.
Yes.
I just absolutely dreadful with my proportions where I would just be like, serving size is me. It's
Yeah. Oh
not
yeah.
6, it's not 8. Serving size is me.
That helped me a
Yeah.
lot too, like cutting down
Mm,
on how much I was eating too. So
no.
So I'm trying this weekend. I didn't talk about it, but Friday and Saturday, I'm going to try to fast for 2 days.
Hmm.
it's a long
Um,
fast. It's a
dude, I
it's a
tell you,
pretty long
like
fast.
I've had some I've had a fast close to 10 days before. Mind you,
Ugh.
I got the girth. I could survive. Now you're right. I'll drink coffee, just black coffee. I'll drink
Oh
water,
yeah.
but like other than that,
Mm,
um. So, but I'm gonna try 2 days for a little bit just to see if I could help kick my metabolism back into gear.
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since I quit drinking 2 months ago. Like I'm really leaning hard on like the ice cream and sodas right now. Just
Yeah.
something that something I consider something just to help me kick that itch.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
A little bit of a
we're just gonna try to
replacement.
just kick it. Yeah, we're gonna try to just kick it hard. And my wife's like, "Oh God, this is gonna be awful." I was like, "Hey, she's probably right. She's smart, but
Well, that's like I've
Some rah-rah support, please.
I haven't
Let's
been
not go with the doom and gloom.
like I haven't had alcohol in the house for probably almost a year now, but I still get that feeling of like, man, because I still will have a beer socially if I'm at a buddy's house or we're out at a
sure,
restaurant or whatever.
absolutely."
Mm,
But I still have those like where man, I really could use a beer right now. I really want a beer right now. And actually, NA has helped me quite a bit in that area. Light
NA.
NA, yeah, non-alcoholic.
Oh, okay, yeah. I got
So
you. I
like,
got you.
oh,
I
okay, yeah, because I
I've
thought you were
been
like talking about Narcotics Anonymous. I'm like,
no
what the
no
hell
no
does NA
no
have to
non-alcoholic
do?
because you'll get like I'll get that Bud Zero, which is supposedly has zero alcohol, not even that 0.5%, but it's like 50 calories, so it's not even that terribly heavy in calorie, um, and it's just close enough to it that it's like yeah okay that sated that taste for beer I really wanted, and it wasn't a big deal. So no,
Mhm.
that I do notice that some people say if you're really trying to cut it, that's kind of a cop out a little, or but it's like whatever. If I want something that tastes like beer, it's better than drinking a real beer.
I was gonna say,
So
yeah,
Sure.
if you're gonna have a whole bunch, but then if this thing kind of cuts that off at the bend, then why not do the thing that cuts it off
yeah,
at the bend before?
because a
Yeah,
lot of
that totally
times it's
makes
like
sense.
I'll just be craving that taste, and then I'll have one, and it's like okay, well I've had that taste now, and
Mm,
I don't crave it as much. So, but I still get the cravings. fairly often. So,
Yeah.
all right, Drew,
All right,
you
and
want
then
to?
to follow up with so follow up then with the thing I'd like to change most about myself, and some of this stems from seasons in Houston, Texas. Right, you're gonna die. It's so hot, and then you have 8 months of pretty good weather. I want to get outside with the kids more, and part of that is because whenever they ask, "Can I get on my phone? Can I get on my phone?" It's like I'm on my phone, so obviously they're learning the habit. So I want to start being like, "Hey, we're home. Let's go. Let's go outside. Let's go ride the bikes.
Yeah.
Let's go throw the football. Let's play some basketball. Let's just do something out there. Let's go. Let's go to a botanical garden, take pictures, or just go
Yeah, get out
find
of the
some
house.
trail to hike. Yeah, because there's no hills in Houston. It is flat as all get out. So, but that's one thing I really want to focus on, especially now that the weather is breaking. Because dude, I'm not gonna lie, when it's 110 degrees with heat
Oh,
index
yeah.
outside, you're not doing shit outside. You walk to the car and you're like, I should probably change underwear.
Oh, for sure. I
Because
can imagine. Yeah.
it's Taylor. I promise you.
Oh,
Like, I have this part in my garage. Let me go out to the garage, find the box, take it, go to the car, and it's like I'm gonna go change. I'm gonna go change my underwear.
No, I get
and
you.
throw some powder on before I leave now because it's.
I have
it's
very
over.
faint, wispy memories of Del Rio. So yeah, very faint
It's
memories.
amazing.
Not the ones I get told
Yeah.
about, but at least just some very faint memories of good old Del
and
Rio.
getting out and being active in that way too, it's probably going to make you feel better just overall too. Getting out, get the exercise.
Yes.
That's one thing I wish I need to start doing more is like my wife, now that school started, she can't do it as much, but she would go for like 4 mile walks. And it's like, there's no reason I shouldn't be doing that with her. I can easily do 4 miles. It's not a big, if we're just walking. And I always feel like even if I'm in a bad mood, when I get done with a walk, I always feel a little better. So it's like, I don't know why I'm not using that more to kick a funk but it's just, the problem is when you get in those funks and depression, it's such a self-perpetuating cycle of I already feel like crap. Well, now I don't want to go do anything, and that's going to make me feel like crap because I don't want to go do anything, and it just kind of builds and builds and builds and builds, and it can be really hard to be like, okay, I need to break that cycle and just go do something that's going to get me out.
Yep.
And that's kind of what I meant with the anger of being addicting is when you are depressed, it almost becomes addicting to feel that way. You're so used to feeling that way that it's almost a comfort when you feel it. It's very hard for me to put a finger on it.
There's to paraphrase a quote from Star Trek Next Generation there with Picard. He talked about how anger is kind of like a old leathery boot.
Oh yeah, it's very comfortable.
It starts to feel very comfortable after being worn for so long. I was like,
I've had some friends and family that got into cutting, and it's just a pain you can control. If you make yourself angry, you're controlling that, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yep. So it's just something you can control. So.
All right. I'll go and do
your next one.
So I would say I think we covered my biggest addiction thing, my biggest improvement, and it kind of comes from the first addiction of the doom scrolling in the phone, is one of the biggest things I want to change. And like, I'm kind of starting to do it already with learning the hiragana and Japanese, is I want to start taking that time I've been doom scrolling and putting it towards something that's productive in my life and enriching, learning something new or learning a new skill or sketching or doing anything that's not on the phone that's going to help enrich, reading books, that kind of thing. Because like I said, I love to learn new things. I always get excited when I do. I really get into it. And I need to spend less time on my phone doing nothing, turning my brain off, and more time putting that brain power and trying to learn a new work skill even, or whatever it might be, take a class somewhere, an online class. There's so many free resources out there of so many different things you can learn. YouTube videos, which is on your phone. I get that, but you can learn a ton just from, instead of watching stupid crap on YouTube, watch how to build a computer or, change brakes, or just make it something. If you're going to be on your phone, make it something productive and enriching that you're learning something and not just a stupid video of whatever. So that's one big thing I'm trying to, and I think a lot of that would be also spending more time with my kids instead of being on the phone while I'm learning. That's like Chloe and Maddie have been working with me a little bit on the Japanese writing. Like they'll come over and write with me and stuff. And it's inspired Maddie also to start trying to learn some Spanish, and so it's like using what I'm learning to help bring them with me and spend more quality time with them doing that, of all of us learning something together. So that's probably my biggest thing I'd like to change, is use my time more productively.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. Especially, yeah, like pointing out, both of you actually have pointed out, is that they're seeing you do these behaviors. Not necessarily monkey see, monkey do, but, if
It very
it
much
does
can
kind
be,
of
though.
foster
Yep.
some sort of curiosity or kind of, cloistering or regression into that sort of thing. So that's, it's an important thing to be like, okay, yeah, no, they're seeing what we're doing, kind of thing. So it's important to be that
That's
example.
very true too. They're
Yeah.
The times my kids drive me nuts the most is when they're acting like me. And I've noticed it. Like when I'm really frustrated with them, it's hard to be frustrated because it's like, this is how I act. You know what I mean? It's like, and they're mirroring what I'm doing, and it's like, this is what I'm like. That's very annoying that I'm like this, and that they're learning it from
At least
me.
you recognize what we put up with, Graham.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna change, so too bad. Just to annoy you.
Oh, I love you. Gracious. Oh no. Uh, so I guess I have a couple. One is stemming from that first thing of being a little actually more so not my first thing, but kind of what you guys are talking about, especially you, Graham, pointing it out, where it's like how I'm I don't really watch TV, and I don't really watch movies. I'll put them on and every now and again, but it's not something I actively seek out, or I don't really. It doesn't vibe with me to do the doom scrolling thing and whatnot. Is that I overthinking to, especially in a social way, to kind of be a little more not necessarily like the guard is up per se, but just kind of be a little bit more of just my goofy self.
Yeah, a little less guarded.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's
sense.
not that it's guarded per se, but it's just kind of, it's more like, I would say it's less about. It's more, yeah. It's just a reservation. It's more just being reserved, and not. It's just kind of like, yeah, and I think what it really stems from is, love my parents, but how I saw how my dad was, and is to a certain degree still, and also how my mom was and is still to a degree, but feeling like I had to be the adult as a kid, so it's like I've got to be the serious one, like because they're being a bunch of goobers, and that's not the best like lesson to take away from it, but that is the lesson I took away from that. And so like I try to not allow myself to just kind of be like I was talking to Drew before the thing, he put that short out that if him like caught of me saying I had a tiny PP, and had he caught me with that 20 years ago or so, I would have been such a butt mad little bitch boy about it. But oh yeah, I would have been, I know I would have been like, so like this motherfucker, I would have just been so
Oh yeah.
like we would have words. But then it's just like, and I'm grateful that I've seen that growth in me in that, but I feel like there's ways that I could still grow in that. And then yeah, to just kind of flow more socially with things. And the other thing being with like having what I like for writing or something like that, to I can have that focus. I can be just super focused and really, really into it. But then there'll be points where I purposely will kind of step away to just be like, oh, well, I need to I'm going a little too intense. So I need to step away for a little bit. Let it simmer and stuff. I think I need to stop doing that because I feel like I do that and I take a little too long to kind of kick back into gear. And maybe that is just a sign of getting older where it's like, okay, shifting back into this is getting a little tougher for me. So
Yeah. No, I could see that. I could also see it being kind of a double-edged thing of like, yeah, you don't want to take as much time off, but it's also not a bad thing to step back occasionally and just, making sure you're not stepping back too long at that point. So.
Right. Because I know with the first book that I had gotten done, I kind of was just like, okay, it's done, but I still got other things I want to do, which, at least kind of give yourself a, okay, whew. And I didn't really even give myself that. I just kind of was like, well, I'm going to start on this other thing. And then,
Yeah.
okay, I've started it, but now I'm going to give myself a break. And it's just like,
No, I get that.
So.
Well, you also don't want to burn out either. So that's why I even texted you this weekend. Like, I spent like 17 hours in the last 3 days learning hiragana. I think it's probably maybe time to take a day or two break of not touching it. Because I'm starting to drive myself. I'm starting to see it in my dreams, so it's time to step away a little bit. So,
question on that for the both of you, real quick, things that just kind of popped in my head. That do you guys dream in sound?
Yes.
I honestly cannot answer that question.
Okay.
All
right.
Like, we talking about their sound in the dream? Their sound in the dreams? Like,
sound, I've heard, like I can hear people talking in my dreams and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, because I don't dream, like in my dreams they are all silent.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can hear people talking. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've had conversations in my dreams. Yeah.
It is always like just like an understood conversation. It's like you just know, almost like telepathy kind of thing. Never hear sound. If I hear a sound, it's when I'm waking up or something. I very rarely will I ever have sound in my dreams.
But it's also hard to me because I'm almost positive I've had conversations in my dreams. But there's also a lot of times where there is just this understanding that like you understand a person is feeling this way or whatever, and maybe it's not spoken. And because it's your brain talking to itself, of course it's going to know. You know what I mean? It's what your dream is creating this other person thinking or whatever. So I think I have a mixture of both where sometimes there'll be conversations and sometimes there's just that understanding of this is what's happening or, what's going on that way between two people in my dream. So it's weird. It's weird to think about because I don't remember a lot of my dreams. And I don't feel like I dream a whole lot either. So I only dream occasionally.
I remember like 1 week and like I get some good ones. But it's normally 1 week.
A lot of times the ones that'll wake me up and I'll kind of like, oh, that was a crazy one or whatever. Enough so that it'll wake me up and I'll still have a pretty vivid memory of it. I'll get my phone out and I'll write notes about it. I'll write down notes about like, this is what happened. This is why it was weird. This is how I felt when it was happening. And I found it's kind of interesting to go revisit that later and be like, what the hell was going on there? That was strange. Because I'll forget it later in the day. I'll be like, I kind of remember something, but while it's fresh, I'll like to make a note about it on my phone and then go back.
That's a neat idea to write it down. I like
have a dream
idea.
journal. Yeah.
So
I had one in Japan where I basically lived an entire life of somebody else.
I've heard of that happening before.
And it felt like a whole life. And I was dying on a in deathbed in a hospital, surrounded by family and everything. And I woke up as me, and for about 6 hours, I did not know who I was or where I was. It was bizarre. Cool.
Yeah.
It would
be unsettling.
It's interesting, but you're just kind of like, what the hell was that?
Yeah,
who am I? Oh, okay. I kind of remember who I am now. Like this, it was strange. It's real strange, but definitely. Yeah. So sorry. It's then a bit of a tangent, but
it's an interesting thing. Something people don't really talk about much either. So, all right. We want to go ahead and move into the top 3. We feel like we covered this one enough.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, we're going.
So
Dope.
the top 3 is mine, but I'm gonna have Taylor do my. What was the introduction you did that one episode? It's just like you're the top 3 throw down or
Oh,
something. You did that. It was so good. He's like top 3
three mix.
throw down. We were all like, that was really good.
Well, unfortunately, I do not remember that.
We'll have to clip it. I'll have to clip it out.
Clip. You have to figure out which one it was.
Because it was like the total like turntable
No,
record.
top 3 throwdown.
It was really good. I was like,
No,
damn. My
I
top
don't
3
have that magic.
is top 3 influential people in your life. This can be personal. It can be someone you don't know that you were still feel inspired by. So I feel like mine aren't boring, but mine are all personal. I'm not sure about you guys. I don't really have anybody that isn't directly involved in my life that I really has inspired me, or at least none I could think of when I was trying to think of one. But I'll go ahead and start. These are in no particular order either. I'm going to say the first one was my cousin, Nick. He was an older cousin of mine, the closest thing I've ever had to an older brother, until I met Drew. But
so sorry I'm your second experience.
yeah, exactly. It was a pretty big letdown from Nick. But no, so my cousin Nick on my dad's side. And he passed away. I want to say it was pretty much right out of high school, maybe a couple years out of high school. He passed away. But I would go spend a lot of weekends with my grandma's with him. He's the main reason I love The Simpsons. And I love sports as much as I do. And there's just all these big milestones in my life that I have an interest in X, Y, Z, whatever, and I can trace it directly back to his influence on me. I feel like he was a really great example. He was a great influence. A lot of things I still love in life I got from him. So I miss him a lot. But no, he was very influential on me, especially growing up. Because, like I said, he was the closest thing I've ever had to an older brother. So, yeah, it would be my cousin on my dad's side, Nick.
Nice.
Whoever wants to go next.
Taylor, you want to go second?
I thought,
make
you
Taylor
got to
go.
pass the baton. Oh, you're going to pass it to me?
Yeah, I pass it to you.
Pass it to me? Okay. I'm going to throw out the one that I mentioned to you guys before we started recording as kind of my cheat one. And so the big umbrella of family. So I kind of, with my parents, as much as I love them, and what they've done is much more of like an observational influence in a way, as opposed to just kind of an impressing sort of thing, if that makes any sense. And it's not necessarily in a bad thing, but it's just that's just kind of and I think it's just how they raised me. And like, my dad and mom had agreed, hey, yeah, he had the birth defect and stuff, but no, he's just, that's what it is, but that's not going to like determine who he is, kind of thing. So that aside, I would want to, in an impressionable kind of way, mention on my mom's side, my aunt and uncle, Aunt Karen and Uncle Mickey, because I would go and visit them for a while. I was going to church with them and stuff every week, and just how they were. They were very, for at least me in their presence, they were very stable environment. My one cousin, she's just a few months older than I am, so we would kind of always hang out and stuff. And but those two, like that, my aunt and uncle, just how my aunt was, and still is. She just is very. It tries to be, at least talk to people. Though maybe there's other stuff there, but at least from what I see, this person, she's always trying to be understanding of people. And my uncle, he used to be a state highway patrol officer. but my dad would always say, he's like, yeah, I don't trust cops, but he's like the one I do, kind of thing. So that's always a good thing when my dad would say that. And he he's really big into history, particularly Civil War. He would do Civil War
Okay.
reenactments and stuff, and yeah, he could play the bagpipes, so you might
Oh, that's
appreciate
cool.
that there. Yeah.
My neighbor used to
Um,
he still plays them, but yeah, the neighbor that used to live next door to me, he would always play his. So
mhm,
the girls
there
loved
you
it.
go. Yeah. So it just how they were. I think I took a lot of lessons from them, and not to say that I didn't from my parents, but more so in an impressionable way with them.
Yeah.
So I would say those two are ones I've mentioned for being influential in my life. So Drew, over to you.
My first one's sad. So
Mm,
for me, I'm gonna go with my aunt Teresa. Um, she passed away when I was in the seventh grade, so I was 13, 14 years old, and I really don't remember a time before leukemia about my aunt. Like I really just can't dig back that far. I remember her and her red Colt hatchback and the dog jumping out of the window and like she's holding on to the leash like an idiot, you know. But she still may have had leukemia at that time. I really can't
Yeah.
remember. But through at least 6, 7 years that I know she battled off and on, she always had a sense of humor, a smile on her face. Every time she'd lose her hair, she'd get a bunch of new, like what the tie up head thingy, headband,
Yeah.
whatever you
The
call them.
headbands and stuff. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, she'd get like new ones, like make her look like a punk biker or just some stupid ass thing. And I just remember that through 6, 7 years of horrible stuff happening to her, she always found a way to smile to make my sister and I
Yeah.
included. I remember we were at Kings Island and they had these little like, slow ass moving cars on the track. Well, my sister was driving. She gets out of this damn thing, gets on her hands and knees, and just kisses the ground when she's done riding with my sister. Who does that in front of all these damn people? It's just
Oh yeah.
her personality was just it was amazing. Even when she was at her worst, she was still someone you wanted to be around. So,
Yeah.
mm.
That's incredibly hard to do too. So yeah, it's a real testament to someone's character, I feel like.
hmm so Aunt Teresa, miss you, love you.
All right. My second, like I said, these are in no particular order. I'm gonna cheat a little as well, like Taylor did. Very much in the same
Bastard.
sense. I'm gonna say more so my aunt on my mom's side, my aunt Gail, who I lived next door to growing up when I was living with my grandma, and is the mother of my two cousins who are pretty much my little sisters. And so mainly her, but also I got to include my uncle as well, and then my grandfather and my grandmother as well. Um, but the reason I say my aunt Gail the most is because I don't know that there's another person out there personality wise, especially when I was younger. Not as much now, but still very much now, personality wise and just mentality wise, that I'm probably more similar to than her. Her and I are very, very similar in our emotions, our emotional state of things, how we handle our emotions. Um, Her and I, she's been one of the closest people into my life, my whole life. She's always been there. I learned a lot from her. Her and my uncle, I feel a very strong identity to like that blue collar rural life, and that segment of people because of that side of the family. And I felt like they gave me a lot of that, which I super appreciate, the hard work and being humble, and that kind of down to earth. But at the same time, I don't think we've ever hugged. I think maybe we've hugged once. It's one of those, we both know how much we love each other, but we don't express it, if that makes sense. It's known. We just don't,
Mm.
we know we don't have to express it for the other person to know that. So she's been, they all have, but I would say her more so. Um, she's very, very, very much a second mother to me. So yeah, the main one being my Aunt Gail. So I could say a lot of the reason I'm the person I am today is because of her. So she had a huge influence on my life. And like I said, I'm very, very similar to her, I feel like. So
Would you go over and hug that woman then? For me,
she does not, that's the thing. I would, but she does not like to be hugged.
you just jump her.
I have hugged her a couple times. It's not like we've never hugged, but she's like me. She'll be like, okay. And it's like, we don't have to do that anymore now. So, but no, that's the thing is like, it's very clear how she feels about me. And I think I make it very clear how I feel about her. So I don't think there's any misunderstanding there because of the lack of, emotional physicality connection there. So
Sure. She's a blast. I love her.
yeah, she's a very stand-up person. So
And
she can be a little quirky
Sam's great
sometimes.
too. Sure.
So, and that's the thing. He's been incredibly influential in my life, just like my grandpa. But I feel like, personality-wise and stuff, I'm much closer to my aunt than I am them. So,
Sure.
But
All right,
I love
back
it.
over to me.
Yeah. Let's have it.
Oh boy. Yeah, I'm going to pull from the family tree and go with my grandmother. I'd probably lean more on my grandmother, but my grandfather on my dad's side, so his mom and dad, they used to live right outside of Sunbury, had on 36, 37, where the Sunbury town entrance. That's that sign. There used to be a farmhouse and stuff right there that they used to live at, and everything. So I would see them really frequently because they lived like 10, 15 minutes away. My grandmother, we would play like Skip-O and Scrabble and all this sort of these fun little games and stuff, and that was kind of where I Scrabble in particular is where I got really interested in learning words and all sorts of fun things to try to beat her because she was just always so good at Scrabble. And it's just kind of like, okay, all right, Grandma, it's but she wasn't ever mean or malicious or anything. She was a loving grandmother, one of those that everybody really really enjoyed her presence and everything. And my grandfather, so there, I've spoken about him before. I don't know about so much on the podcast, but to the both of you of just some of the stuff about him. But
A legend.
yeah, to some people, and here's the thing, right, is like what I experienced as a kid with him was somebody who I would sit there, we'd sit there at the porch at night and feed raccoons, and just kind of just feed raccoons some bread and stuff and just kind of really enjoy that. Or he would show and talk about like the different kind of stars and constellations and how to tell a difference between a star and a planet, and just those kind of warmer memories. So I had that experience versus some of the stuff I have heard about him and expressed to you guys. But but like both of them passed away, or have passed away since. My grandmother had passed away when Katrina happened, because I remember seeing it, watching it, and then getting the call about it, and it was just kind of like, oh. And then by that point, my grandfather had already has like in Alzheimer's and stuff. And the last thing I remember doing with him was watching like the old Planet of the Apes films and stuff. And I'd like to try to think that just those kind of warm memories and the way that they were with me, I try to be with not only other people, either by trying to like point out things that they might find interesting, but also just try to have that warmth, particularly when it comes to kids. That like, I think that's really important to not in like some sort of like creepy way, hey random children, but more of just kind of
Would you like
just
some
sort
candy?
of would you like some candy? Yeah, definitely not that kind of shit, but
get
just
your fat ass over here.
God. But just just something simple, like either like a game, like that's partly why I have like the goofy hat and stuff on. It's just kind of something that even to not even just to kids, but just people in general, it might give them a smile. Sure, there are going to be people like, "Why are you looking ridiculous like that?" And it's like,
It's fun. Yeah.
yeah, it's just to lighten the mood a little bit and stuff. Because I think that people, including myself, can be a little too serious, and there's a time and place for it. But if you're just kind of going about your day, so I think that's.
Have you seen Taylor probably hasn't, Graham? Have you seen the modern family vacation movie? It's got Christina Applegate, Chris Hemsworth's in it for a brief period, and
I don't think I've seen that one.
There's a point. Norman Reedus, the guy from Walking Dead, he's a truck driver, and he's got like a bear tied to the front of his truck, and the dad asks him, he's like, "Hey, what's with the bear on the truck?" And he's like, "Makes kids more comfortable." Oh, you have kids? No.
Oh, that's awful. That's terrible.
Why does Taylor wear the hat?
Oh, who knows?
That's gross. That's a bridge too far. Oh, that's gross. I was actually just talking to my roommate about like going over and teaching in Japan and stuff, and my thoughts are, how could somebody ever think like that?
Oh, for sure.
And it's and then I echo my dad's words on it, changing for possible inflation, about it being a 49-cent solution for the sorts of things, and it's just kind of like,
I agree.
So
there's much cheaper ways to handle those situations.
Well, right, ball peen hammer.
But no, we're fine with spending the money for the bullet. That's more better than a life sentence.
I'll chip in a few bucks.
It sounds like,
hell, I'll pull the trigger for you guys. Get over here.
It sounds like the way you kind of talk about your grandpa. It sounds like I had kind of a similar experience with mine, in the sense that the stories I've heard about him, of when he was younger in the military and growing up, and he grew up a very hard life. His dad was an extremely, extremely hard man. He was not the softest, nicest man to my mom and my aunt growing up. But I caught him at the end of his life, just like, we all did. My aunt and my mom always like to say that once the grandkids showed up, he changed. Like, that softer side of him started to come out, and it started to come out when I was a little bit, but when my cousin Cheyenne was born, apparently it was like night and day difference. He softened right up because, and they say a lot of it was Brianna, my cousin, and I were kind of scared of him when we were kids and real little, and we're kind of wary. And Cheyenne never was. From like a very small infant age, she would like crawl right up on his lap and sit with him, and she never showed any signs of being afraid of him. And they were like, that was when he really started to soften up and like really became real genial and laughing all the time. And he was not like that, I guess, when he was younger. So I'm happy I have, because I've heard stories, and I know the way sometimes my mom and my aunt can feel about him. I'm happy I have those memories of him, though, because he was a big influence in my life. And, I wanted to go into the military because of him. I couldn't because of my heart condition, but that's why I love helicopters and planes and aviation and all this other stuff, is because of him. And so I'm happy I have those memories of him, and not kind of maybe the worser version of him when he was younger, if you even want to put it that way.
So. I get you. Well, that's the other thing too, is that particularly from him, I remember him being stern, but not.
That's
like
my grandpa too. He took no BS, but he was
right.
He was never mean either. So.
Right. So yeah, like I missed the mean, but I'd get the stern, and it wasn't even so me, because I was, surprisingly enough, at least as a little toddler, was behaved to a degree, somewhat. But more so my brother, he was a little hellion, and so he'd always call him Charlie Brown and be like, "Look, Charlie Brown, we need to, you need to behave yourself," and stuff. So,
I remember when I was living with them, and I was probably a freshman, something like that, and I was talking to my grandma about something, and I said something along the lines of like, we're all just a bunch of ignorant people or something. It wasn't very nice, and it was very kind of demeaning. And when I was saying it, I wasn't really realizing that I was saying it that way, but I was also kind of being an ass, and I knew I was. And he always went to bed before everybody else. And I remember standing in the living room talking to her, and I heard him from the bedroom, like, Graham, you need to get in here now. And I was like, oh. And I went in, and he sits up in his bed, and he's only in his tidy whities. And he puts his finger right in my face. And he was like, if I ever hear you talk to your grandmother like that again, he's like, you're not going to know what to do. And it never did again. That man, when he got down to it, he scared the hell out of me. I mean, he's 70 something years old, and he could probably still beat my ass at that point. So it was like, I'm not going to play that game.
I'll say this: the only person in my life to beat my ass with something not physically attached to their body was my grandfather. I was being a jerk to my sister, and my grandparents' house, like the sitting area and the garage overhang was separated from the house, and you had to get over the 3.5 foot wall or go around the gate, right? So I'm like, he's in there smoking, lounging back in his chair, and I'm like, oh, I have plenty of time for this shit, right? So I'm pushing her off the swing. Before I even know it, that dude, he had to left the fucking wall, taking his shoe off, and started beating my ass with his shoe. And I was in such shock, like, how I checked. He was
How
there.
did he get here so
How
fast?
the hell did he get here? It's
yeah.
whap, whap, whap. It's like, Grandma. I'm
Well,
sorry.
that's like, you don't want to underestimate that old man strength,
Nope.
or even from your like dad and stuff. Because I remember years ago, because he did this to his dad, and his dad beat his ass. He tried to pick a fight with his dad. He thought he was big enough that he was going to beat his dad, and his dad kicked his ass. And so I was mouthing off to him one day or something. And he was like, any day. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, any day you think you're ready, you just come. He's like, just let me know. And I was like, no thanks. And I heard a guy talking about it. He said he had done the same thing to his dad. Well, no, his brother had tried to fight his dad when he was like 18. And he's like, all right, old man, I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to do it. And his dad was smoking a cigar. And he set the cigar down and he goes, are you sure? And his brother's like, yeah, man, I'm going to whip your ass, old man. And he said his dad got up and one punch just knocked him out. Went back over, picked up a cigar, sat back down and started smoking it. And he's like, I learned a lesson that day watching my brother do that. He's like, I never, ever went after that man. He said, then I grew up and I got married and had kids, and my son did it to me. So I called my dad and I was like, I need your advice. You've been through this before. The boy, my son, Bill or Billy or whatever, wants to fight me. And he goes, the only advice I can give you is you absolutely cannot lose. He was like, that's all there is to it. There's no matter what,
Right.
You cannot lose that fight. He's like, you do what you have to, because if you lose that fight, the whole power dynamic in your house is going to change. And he's like, you can, whatever you do, he's like, the only thing I knew when your brother stepped to me was I cannot lose this fight. And I was like, that's totally true. Can you imagine your kid beating you up? It's like, you could never say another thing about it. You're done there. So you absolutely cannot lose that fight.
You go clean the room, fucking make me.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I got it. I got it.
Oh yeah. Right.
Well, that's I was reading a biography on Walt Disney, and apparently his dad used to beat him pretty bad. And he said he got to be about 19, and he would always take him down to the basement and beat him with a belt. And he said one day his dad took him down there or something, and his dad went to beat him, and right as he did, he reached around and grabbed the belt and held it and like twisted it around and looked at his dad in his face, and he said, never again. You will never hit me with that ever again. And his dad, he said that was pretty much the end of it, is that his dad never came after him again. And like when you're 19 beating your kid with a belt, I get that. But if your 17-year-old son's like, oh, I got you now, old man, I'm going to whip your ass, you cannot lose that fight at all.
Right.
So you should try to have a
rough
relationship
thing.
where he doesn't want to fight you. I think that's the main goal.
Yeah.
So you got to keep that
Yeah,
in mind for
probably.
Dean. I have 2 girls. I don't have to worry about it. So you got to keep
What
an
if
eye
you
on
lost
Dean.
that fight? What if
There's
you
no
lost
way in
that
hell.
fight?
They're their mother's daughter. They're never going to be taller than my chest, so it'll be. I'll be fine. So, I got them on a height advantage there. So
Taylor, I can't wait till one of these podcasts he comes in with a black eye.
never happened.
I
Never
don't want to
happened.
talk about it.
For one thing, I would never admit that. Secondly, I probably would show up for it.
We're gonna have to cancel for a couple, like a week or two. Yeah.
It's not going to happen. So
Oh man! All right. Well, let me do my second one. So my second one's going to be, and mine's all family, and I think that speaks volumes to the fact that I didn't watch a whole lot of TV growing up. I don't idolize any athletes or anything like that.
Yeah,
I
same
think
here.
most of them are pretty fucking horrible people in general. So, but my grandmother on my dad's side, we called her Bubba, which was basically grandma in Czechoslovakian, which is just from her. A lot of it that I got was just strength. Strength in the bad times, like when my Aunt Teresa died, like, that would destroy people. She, Bubba dove deep into her faith and charity. She volunteered at the hospital in like the leukemia ward. She would bring Meals on Wheels to people. And it just, I think if anything it did, it strengthened her faith in Jesus and God and all that. And it was an amazing thing to see how she got stronger through it. I mean, I'm sure it destroyed her, but like, you never know.
yeah.
And I remember the day she died, she had slipped on the ice and she broke her foot. And so the doctor said, hey, you got to be in bed rest. So, my dad set up the medical bed at they had a split level. It was on the lower level where they always watched TV. And I remember we had to carry her down there in a wheelchair down the stairs because there's no way to get there,
Yeah.
And I just remember we're carrying her down, and I'm like, we get over to bed. I'm like, Bubba, what the hell are you gonna do? I was like stuck in this bed in the chair. She's like, oh, I don't know, honey, it's gonna be the death of me. And it was that night that it happened, and I was like, son of a bitch, that was horrible. But like, it was a blood clot that hit her lung.
Okay, that's what my question was going to be, if something happened or if it just like she was just done. So
yeah, and I just the only thing I took away from that was it was horrible. Didn't even get a real chance to say goodbye. I just I thought I'd see her the next day.
Yeah.
Because she was fine other than that. But I just remember like for those couple days where her foot was broken, she couldn't deliver Meals on Wheels. She couldn't go visit people that lost someone. They came to see her for the first time. They came to pay their respects to her, and then she got to go after that. So I just thought that was God's way of just giving her that day or two break.
Yeah.
Before she got called home. So.
Yeah.
So strength is what I got from her.
It's a good thing.
There's other stories because she gave my grandpa shit. She drew the line for him a couple times. That's another story, another day.
Way. Yeah, that was my grandma too. Nana, she had no problem planting her flag. That's for sure.
Yep.
So, that's even with my aunt. I always say for one, I was raised around mostly women because my grandpa, and my uncle were always working. So I was always home with my grandma and aunt, and then I had my two cousins. So I was surrounded by women all the time. I was raised by women, and strong women at that. They ran the households where I grew up. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like, yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're very strong country women. They're all mostly out of the South, and so you don't fuck with them. That's for sure.
Nope.
So I'm gonna say my last one is probably my dad, just because I got a lot of, kind of like with my cousin Nick, a lot of my interests, and I think kind of who I am as well is I got a lot from my dad. He was a massive history buff, loved sketching. He's the one that was teaching me how to like cartoon and stuff like that. He always loved to sketch and draw cartoons. He used to take me all the time to the Ohio Historical Center. We went there all the time and would do stuff. And he was the kind of guy that if there was something to do, let's go do it. Let's go ride the bike. Let's go to the hockey game. Let's go do this, whatever. And it wasn't, let's just sit around. It was, let's go have a good time somewhere. I think part of that might have been because I only saw him every other weekend growing up. So he was trying to maximize the time that we had together. But it is very influential with my kids now of like, because he would make it a priority to go do that stuff and make sure I was having a good time at a baseball game or whatever. I want to do the same for my kids. Like if I have an opportunity to take them to go do a new experience or, just they've been to several minor league baseball games. They love them. Why would I not take them? You know what I mean? So to make sure I'm really getting those opportunities to get them. So yeah, I would have to say my dad is definitely one for sure. I also feel like my kind of chilled, laid backness comes from him because he was one of the most laid back guys I've ever known. So he also causes him and my cousin both cause some self-reflection as well. They've been very impressionable on that because for people that don't know, they both committed suicide. And because of that, it's really made me kind of rein my depression in. It's kind of, now that I know what my family has been through and I've been through for that, it's one of those, like, I need to get my depression in check to where I don't ever get to that state, because the people that do it don't expect to get there. It's not like something they're planning. It's, but unfortunately people can get there and they're not even realizing it. So it's like, well, get ahead of it before it can ever get to that level. So, I would say they were very influential and impressionable on me in that way too, to take care of myself mentally as best as I can.
I remember the night you called, told me your dad was gone. On a total stupid note of that night, I remember. I mean, it hit me pretty hard because I was feeling, I felt a lot of ways about you, and I knew I didn't know what you were feeling, but I knew it hurt like hell. Yeah. And I remember I had too many drinks at my friend's house because again I was depressed just because what I knew you were going through, and on the Taylor reminded me of it when he said it too. So I'm passed out in the car coming home, and I wake up to a weird sound and light, and there was a deputy. I won't name him, but he had his taser about 6 inches from my nuts, and it's just going off. And I woke up in an absolute panic, and he thought it was the greatest thing ever. And I have to agree, it was pretty damn funny. But to come out of that drunken stupor in that state was woo.
Were you just wake up? So you were
wake up
real
real
like
quick
in the car, or were you driving, or what?
Yeah, I was passenger. I was not driving.
Okay.
No.
Then why did he have the taser to your balls?
He thought it was funny.
Oh, is it somebody you knew? Is it somebody you knew? Okay, I thought like a cop pulled you guys over and he's like, I'm like,
nope.
What the hell? You're a passenger. Where you're
Texas grading.
Now, that's. Let me tell you what. That's
ball shock.
There's a good lesson for you. And to anybody that does get caught drunk and driving, maybe that's a good way to stop doing it. Have someone tase your nuts, because I'm sure that would be awful.
Yeah. So
don't do dumb shit, people. Like, it's good advice.
This is kind of slightly off topic, but still kind of on topic. It took me a long time to kind of recognize the influence my dad had on me, because when my cousin committed suicide, it was a year or two after high school. And it was just that emotion was mostly sadness and disbelief, and and then my dad did it 2019, I believe, because it was a year before we got married. And the main
2009.
2009.
That's my bad.
Okay.
The 20s throw me off every time. 2009. Yes. The main emotion I felt there was anger, because he had already been through it with my cousin. He was one of the guys that walked around saying, I can't believe he did that. I don't know what would ever push him to do that. So then for him to do it, I was for several years very, very angry. And it took me a long time to kind of work through those feelings and be like, no, I also have to look at him in a positive light and what he contributed to me positively. And he was a great dad. He was, So it took me a long time to kind of recognize that. To the point where I almost didn't put him on the list tonight. But no, luckily I feel like I've worked through a lot of that. There's still some feelings there. I don't know if they'll ever go away, but so no, took a long time. So
yep.
All right. Yeah, I was kind of, I guess, even though I mentioned him from the get-go with it, you're trying to not really include the parents because it felt like it was, maybe a little bit of an easy
it is. You're right.
reference, which
they
isn't
are.
fair.
I mean, unfortunately,
well,
they are,
right,
though,
no, yeah. So this is me once again overthinking on things. So, trying to be more clever than just kind of going with it, because I could certainly point to my mother on certain things, like different interests and likes that I have, or my dad on certain behaviors on me, that I'd be like, oh yeah, that's definitely something I got from my dad.
Yeah.
Just kind of this. It's like, oh yeah, we ain't suffering that nonsense. No. But I'll step away from that. Love you, Mom. I know you're watching, or listening, whatever. But I will step away from that. And I'll go with a transient friendship that I had with a coworker when I was in Japan. And this guy, he dropped out of high school, ended up getting his GED, eventually went to OSU, graduated from OSU, and then he was working in Japan and stuff. And just getting to know him a little bit, because he would be at the cram schools while I was at the actual elementary, middle schools and stuff. And eventually he got into the same position I was in, and so we would I got to know him a little bit, but then I got to know him that last year. And just he served as a very good, not even like a sounding board, but a good mirror to see not only just like how he taught, and how he just kind of presented himself, and how he was with just Japanese and everything, for me to look at him and not have some sort of tinge of like jealousy, or be like, oh man, this guy does stuff better than me. Man, fuck this guy. It was more of like, oh, this guy does stuff better than me. What can I learn from him?
Yeah, for sure.
And it was kind of because I know for a very long time, either through being far too prideful, or just being stubborn, or just having to feel like I need to depend on myself, is that I would just carry that myself and be like, well, I'm the only one that knows me, so nobody else can really help me. And that's being able to have that with him, and just having the conversations that we had, because there would be times where we just like, oh yeah, we're done with classes and everything, and he's at one school and I'm at another that's real close, we're just going to go and grab dinner somewhere and just kind of chit chat on things. And it was just it helped me really kind of mature as a person, to just kind of be like on the level with him. And name's Micah, but he he ended up staying in Japan and stuff, because there was a stretch where we were talking about, oh, we should open a cram school. Everybody loves us here. We'd be able to do it, and I mean, technically we really could have. And there's always that inkling in the back of my head of like, I could have done that. I wonder what would have happened.
Well, you
not
wouldn't
necessarily
be on this podcast.
Well, right. Well, right. Well, not necessarily in a wistful, like regretful way, or it's not even anything that I'm like, every now and again. But
it's
just
natural to think
mere
that.
mentioning it now, it's kind of like, yeah, I kind of wonder what would have happened on that.
I think that's very natural. So
yeah. As long as you don't regret it, right? If you regret it, then you can kind of spiral. It's more of just like, oh, okay, yeah,
just
who knows what would have happened.
Yeah.
But and the last interaction I had with him, it was kind of funny, because we were he saw me off. He was actually this person that saw me off from going from Toyohashi to Tokyo, where I was staying at another friend's place for a few days before leaving. And it was just if it was a chick, it would be incredibly romantic kind of thing. But being another guy and everything, it was just a very like it's the thing where like, oh, it's what's the Frodo and Sam thing. Well, they're really good friends, so they're obviously gay, kind of thing. Like anybody out like looking at it would have been, yes, it was a very it was a very strong bromance that he had. And but
Drew and I have a bromance. We have a
Why
bromance.
not? Why not?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's also just it was really helped soften. I mean, and Graham, you've talked to me about this, where like I don't see it, and maybe that's just a blindness on my part, but I don't really necessarily see the difference so much for me in high school versus now, which is unfortunate because I would, there's certain things I could pick out to be like, oh yeah, but a lot of times I don't. Like there's a blindness for it, unfortunately. But you're like, yeah, I mean, there's certain things about you, but then you've calmed down. You're not as
you have calmed down a little. So,
so
I would say quite a bit, actually. So
You're still a dumbass, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and you were like never crazy in high school. I just felt like you were more high strung.
It was elementary school. He was stabby and shit in elementary.
I mean,
middle school.
He had
Middle
already
school,
improved. He had already improved in high school because he wasn't trying to stab.
I'll cut you.
Well, I guess the best way I would describe it was like we were friends in high school. We knew each other pretty well, but I also always had that feeling of like I didn't quite know it was going to set you off. If that, it's like, is me saying this or doing this going to set you off? And it kind of plays into what you were saying earlier about that clip Drew pulled of you, like how upset you would have been. Now it doesn't bother you at all. So nowadays, I feel like you've changed. Our relationship has changed in such a way that I, for the most part, know I can say just about anything and it's not going to set you off because you know me well enough to know where I'm coming from with it.
Right.
Whereas in high school, I wasn't sure about that.
Well, and I think
a little more careful. So,
and I think that would definitely stem from all the just bad times from elementary and middle school,
for sure.
and then just
you have
not having
there. So
right. So it's like the high school was literally the first time really developing friendships proper with people, and not just kind of this, I guess, like wild man, wild man behavior kind of thing. So.
I remember that was something your dad even said to us. That I think we were at a football game and you were off getting a hot dog or something wiener shaped in your mouth. I'm not sure.
Of course you would,
do.
But, as Drew wishes for.
Let
he just loves to see that image in his head.
It's probably better that we weren't super close in high school because I would have tried to find where the button was because it's fun. It's just fun.
Oh right, no.
But I only do it because I love people. Right? If I didn't like you, I'd leave you the hell alone. Because like I don't need this beef, but like with friends, you got to see where the limits are.
For sure, but there's a time and place, Drew.
Oh, sure,
time and place,
absolutely.
I'd been too high strung, right? I would have been so high strung about it. I would have probably taken it as like, oh, this person just has it out for me,
or a challenge.
And I get that. I get that, but I tell you, the times I get it back are some of my favorite memories of just anything. When someone gets me good,
for sure.
Or just,
when you have that kind of relationship,
it's
very, very fulfilling, for sure.
It is. And I had that in college with a buddy of mine. His name's Rob. We would get into arguments and just shouting at each other for like hours at like in the student union. Over the dumbest fucking things. And we were doing it because we knew we were doing it just to have an argument about things. Not even like just we would just plan aside and just we would just look at each other and it'd be like just something stupid because we'd also have like Japanese class or something together and it would be something either from that or just something about DBZ. It's or something so stupid and everybody would be like, you two need to shut the fuck up. Like, what is this? Like, or you'd go to class and you'd come back right back into it, just going at it.
Well, that's like a lot of the guys I've worked with, Drew to an extent too. I feel like we have a deeper relationship, so it doesn't happen as much. But some of the guys I've worked with, we just said the nastiest shit to each other. I mean, just the nastiest shit, and you don't take it personally. That's part because you're gonna say it, and then he's gonna say it back, and it's fun. It gets you through the day. But just disgusting things to each other. So, but it's all in good. It's all in good fun.
I remember there was a day. It was a day I didn't see it coming. Like, you know, I pick on my buddies, and you know I picked on Graham with the best of them. One day he's like, Drew, you pick on me too much. He's like, could you just tone it down? And I remember just having that moment. I had the utmost respect for him, because it's like that had to be hard, and it had to be hard to say. And I don't mean to be an overbearing.
No,
dick.
for sure. Yeah.
So,
Right.
but like I remember like getting done with it, and I was like, God, that was awesome. I was like, I was so happy for Graham. I really was.
Yeah,
Like,
because it's a good like sign of growth, and
sure.
and I think that's certainly where I would have failed, because I would not have had that kind of growth. I would have just it would have taken a long time. Well, because it's just kind of like
sure.
instead of boundaries, it is sharp and porcupine borders.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah, I
I
just
think a
thought that
good
was a great
way to describe like I said, you and I have done it before, Drew. Taylor, you and I have done it to each other. But I think we've known each other so long, and our friendship has gone long enough that it's
Drew, I think we need to.
it's kind of like a. I'm just going to continue forward instead of acknowledging.
I can't
this.
quit you.
It becomes. This is going to sound kind of weird, but it becomes almost like a marriage in a sense of you just know each other so well that
Sure.
you already have that relationship established for so long that it's.
Yeah.
You know, it's natural at that point, so you don't even really think twice of what you're saying because you already know how that person's going to perceive it. So that's like when I say stuff to Brittany, I know when I say stuff to Brittany what she's going to respond with. Just about 90% of the time. She's surprised me a few times, but 90% of the time I know the reaction I'm going to get from her, depending on what I say. So just because I know her so well, and she does the same thing to me. You know, she knows me that well too.
Yeah.
So. But I feel that way with you guys. I know for the most part, if what I say to you, how you're going to respond to it. So, all right.
Yep.
Derailed enough.
So,
Drew.
Yeah. Well, it's my last one.
Take us
here,
home. Take us home, Drew.
I'm gonna come home with my cheat, and I'm just gonna tell you it's my parents. But for totally different reasons. But like, you know, I absolutely believe like you know, when both parents are in the house, you're gonna have just great opportunities. And like for my dad taught me the work ethic. He taught me how to be a little bit more stern, I don't want to say he taught me how to talk to guys, because holy shit, like I mean, Graham knows me, he knows how my dad talks to people. I'm there 75% of the way.
Oh yeah.
Like
you just tone it down a little. So.
No, yeah. But then you have like my mom, and you know, hers was the softness, and you know, I don't want to say the sacrifice for herself, because I remember, I don't know if I ever told my parents this either, but you know, I remember we'd go to upstate New York for a lot of vacations, because it was, you know, it's family owned, we didn't have to pay for room and board, so you know, it was an amazing cheap vacation, I'm sure, and I was always upset my dad wasn't there, you know, like I want my dad to come, you know, it's like, you know, why the hell not? And it took me years to realize, because Dad was working his ass off, so we could go on that vacation.
Yep.
Right.
But you know, and it was more high school when I started realizing it, because I also noticed my dad never missed a sporting event. Although if there was a good football game on, and I was playing soccer, he would use my portable TV to watch the football game.
Well,
and
yeah.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
He's still there.
Yeah, but he's still there in person. You know, but he absolutely used my little Sony TV. But I mean, just, you know, the characteristics I got from each of them was just they were an amazing team together. And I mean, I owe them so much that I'll never be able to repay. So
and I mean, you're right. The statistics bear out that kids coming from stable 2-parent homes, they tend to succeed quite a lot more than kids from, you know, single parent families or divorced families. That's what I always say saved me, was both of my parents were divorced, but I went and stayed with my grandparents and then had my aunt and uncle next door. So I essentially had that. You know, I had a two-parent house. I had kind of a 4-parent house, because they all work together. But yeah, I think it's incredibly important. So, because I think even you, Taylor, your parents are divorced too, but I think you still had a stepmom for most of it, didn't you?
Well, they got divorced when I was like 6-ish or
Okay.
something, and then my dad was gone for a little bit of time, and then he came back, and then shortly, sometime after he came back, I think it might have been a couple of years or something, he found somebody, and then so it was a while. There was like there was a stretch where
Yeah.
it was like I said, I just kind of turned into the one that my mom had to depend on for trying to do stuff. Not all the time, but certainly oh hey, getting this clean or doing that. And then when that didn't work, she would try to tighten the screws. But then I remember one particular time when she was just tired of both me and my brother, that she literally got one of her friends to call and pretend that she was an old woman, that my mom said that she sold us to this old woman for like a quarter. Oh yeah, yeah. It certainly I think it traumatized us for about a week before we figured out the ruse, and then we became even worse.
Oh, of course, yeah. Now it's time for the kickback, yeah.
right. So, and I know you're listening, Mom. I don't fault you for it. But, yeah. So it's. So it took a while before really getting to that, but in that same vein, I think because I had to be that sort of stability, I also became a lot more observant of the really bad behaviors in people. And I would see, oh, okay, yeah, oh, sure. So I became very discerning, and I think that cuts back to me being very guarded about myself.
Yeah.
And stuff. It's like, I'm gonna suss you out a little bit here, and I don't mean that necessarily to be trying to be mean, but it's like I grow up with all this chaos going on. I'm pretty good without it.
Yeah.
Like, I really would prefer not to have that. So,
I get that.
Yeah, but.
All right, guys.
You know what's funny? You know what's real funny though? I gotta throw. We knocked down to 2 topics to cut time down, and I think we're up there. We're up there tied with our longest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little shorter. It's a little shorter than Audacity says, but Audacity says an hour and 47. So and that I've been kind of thinking about that a lot lately, because I keep saying we want to tighten it up and get it a little shorter, mostly for viewer retention. Honestly, it's hard to commit to a 2-hour video, and people I've talked to, like, yeah, you got to shorten your videos to improve your viewership and stuff. But at the same hand, I almost don't care, because yeah, we might not get as many views, but I don't also want to lose these long form 2-hour conversations that we're getting to have. I don't want to try to cut stuff out that could come up, and even our ramblings, I get something out of it. If nobody wants to watch it, then oh well. So I say we're trying to tighten it up, but at the same time, it's like I really don't want to lose this either, in a sense. So, but it is wild to think we cut down a whole topic, and it's still
thank God, thank God, thank God this week. Well, I think my wife's already texted me 2 or 3 times, like, "Where the fuck are you?" Oh no, oh God, I love you, babe.
I think a lot of it has to do with we've been diving into mostly deeper topics lately. We're not really doing surface level stuff as much anymore. It's been very deep lately, which leads to these longer conversations. So it went from, hey, what's your favorite whatever, the first one was, I can't even remember now, to, hey, who are your top 3 influences in life? It's, geez, okay, it's get deep.
It's a little bit more than just kind of scratching the surface.
So, yeah. But all right, well, you guys good?
I'm good.
All right.
I'm so good.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. You can check down in the description for our social media. You can use the Podbean link actually to link to the podcasts that are all lined up there on our kind of webpage there. So that's a good place to get the podcasts. Again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.
Bye.
Toodles.
Life around 40, here we go again. Graham, Taylor, Drew on the air. We've walked through shadows, faced temptation's call. Bottles and bad habits made us stumble and fall, but every road we traveled brought us back to the start, with stories of redemption written on our hearts. Here's to the ones who lifted us higher, mothers and mentors lighting our fire. Through sleepless nights and battles we've won, their love carried us home when the day was done. Taylor's wise words pulled me from the edge. Drew's steady laugh kept me on the ledge. Graham's honest truth showed me where to lean. 3 guiding lights in every in-between. We rose from the ashes, we broke every chain, found strength, gained our stories, and danced in the rain. To 3 shining souls who stood by our side, their faith gave us hope, made us stronger inside. Life around 40, with every mile we roam, we sang for the voices that guide us back home.